good morning to you. And I imagine from your client's perspective, congratulations on winning this case for them. What was the merits on which the case was won?
Morning, and thank you for having me. So the case was won on the basis that the owner had unlawfully evicted the occupier by bypassing the PI Act, and they evicted the occupiers on the strength of an interdict.
So when you now unpack that for me in slightly more layman's terms, because when we were speaking to some of the occupants, it was my colleague Lindokuhle Xulu, our understanding was that the original owner of this property allowed them to stay on the property. It was then bought by somebody else, and it was this new owner that had them removed and evicted. Is that how this had played out once the facts had come to light?
So how this played out is that the person who is in the process of purchasing the property and the old owner who had initially allowed the occupiers to occupy the property brought an application in February in the High Court on an agent basis, seeking to interdict people who want to occupy the property and seeking to demolish unoccupied and incomplete structures. The order said nothing about people who had already been occupying the property, and that is why the court granted the order. And we went on to court on the strength of the fact that the court order did not allow for the eviction of people who were already in occupation of the property. And if the owner wanted to evict people who were already in occupation of the property, they needed to bring a proper application in terms of the PI application.
So what happens now for those people who were evicted? I asked the question before the break. You've won this case for your clients. Does this now mean that they are able to move back into that property? Is there a temporary solution in place until they can find alternative accommodation? What happens as we sit here and talk at 9:20 on a Saturday? What's happening with these people who were kicked out?
So what is happening as of last night at around 7 p.m., all of our clients were restored back onto their homes, onto the property. Unfortunately, they have to rebuild their homes because these were demolished during the eviction, but they are all back onto the property. And now what needs to happen is we need to go back to court on the 3rd of May for the determination of the final interdict that was sought by the owner of the property.
What's going to now, as far as conditions are concerned, the new owner that came in and seemingly was at the start of this whole issue, what is your understanding that the negotiation is going to be with this new owner? Is this new person going to be willing to let these people stay on the property, or is this individual still going to pursue an eviction later down the road? What's your understanding?
So I cannot speak on behalf of the new owner and his intentions for the occupiers, but what we do know is that in terms of the law, if the new owner, as they have indicated with the interdict, wants the people occupying the property out of the property, then they have to follow due process in terms of the PI Act. They have to bring an application before the court seeking to evict these people, and that application has to include the municipality, which in this case is the city of Johannesburg, who has the constitutional obligation to house these people should they be rendered homeless by an eviction. And I mean, looking at how the eviction happened on Tuesday and the fact that people slept on the pavement for 3 days, it is clear that any eviction of these people on the property would lead to homelessness. And that's when the constitutional obligation of the municipality kicks in to provide them with temporary housing.
Well, congratulations to you on winning this court case for your client, so you could see the reality of their situation. And that was their attorney speaking to me about how this case was won and what it now means for those residents. They have now been allowed back into the property for the moment, it seems, waiting an application by this new owner to find out if they're going to want to continue with the eviction process. But you cannot just kick anybody out onto the street. The municipality has to get involved. There was Kulalilwe Bengu, the attorney on this particular case.